it's quite frightening what's happening. Even this rain we're having now, we've had this for about 6 or 7 days. And that's just totally unusual, you know, for December. I mean, this is summer. This is nearly Christmas. And we've had 7 days of rain. It's quite frightening what's happening, really. And I just wish we had the answers of what can we do about it.
And I feel for our younger generation coming up. So I'm glad you're going to the schools, because there are a lot of kids out there that are still scared even when it rains, even in our area, where we hear the rain, like this last few days of rain. We all cringe. We all look out the window and just even looking along the driveway and down the road to see how far the water's going to come up. We're all getting pretty scared. We try and comfort our little ones, not to be scared of that, but to take the safest option, go up the hill, get to higher ground. See, these are the things we have to teach our kids at home, how to take care of yourself if a big flood comes.
And he agreed when we asked him, is it true that even though the fish's head can see the direction it wants to go in, it will not get there unless the tail flicks that way? And he agreed. And I said, kia ora. And in our Māori world, it doesn't matter which way your head is faced, it's always up. It'll always be up. So that's significant to us in trying to come to terms with how do we fix problems. Okay? And we're blessed with designing the first computer in the world. Even before the English language came, we were using computers, us Māori. And for an example, when you sit down at your desk, first thing you do is turn it on. That's us in our whai kōrero and our mihi, turning the computer on. And the icons show up. And the icons are the likes of Rangi Nui, Papatuanuku, Tāne Mahuta, Tangaroa, and Tāpiri Mātia, and the rest of them. So, in finding out what's the problem, we have the answer. I talk to my elders here. And the answer is simple, because we know where the conflict is. In some cases, we go back in our kōrero and we find that there was an argument that started between 3 brothers, Tāne Mahuta, Tangaroa and Tāpiri Mātia. And we come here today and we call it erosion, or that kind of thing. In some cases, it's a natural occurrence and it needs to be left alone. But in some cases, like the situation that we've had here in Whangaroa, was man-made. We came to that conclusion by using our computer, okay, to find out that man is destroying this thing here. Get down to some of the fine details where we can understand one another. We're talking about the Resource Management Act, a law that doesn't apply to us because we don't have any input into it. And the way that those English words are manipulated to come up with a dollar. And we fought the forestry to get them to sustainably harvest so that it wouldn't flood us. And they turned around and laughed at us and basically said, what do you Maoris know? You don't know nothing. And then we fought with the oyster farms out here, my father and these elders here, to stop it, because it would flood kaeo. And the kinds of kōrero or kaeo always floods. It doesn't matter. But now we know how to use technology. We're finding that the high tide mark above the oyster farm is the same height as the main road in the main street in kaeo. Spring tide mark. So you don't need much rain to back it up. And it never used to be like that. So if there's an ask on how we work together, we understand your guys' computer. I'm not saying you personally. I'm saying you as another race of people, a descendant of the same race I belong to, which is Irish, English, European, whatever you want to call it. We've taken the time to learn that. Nobody's taken the time to learn to look at our computer. Do you guys really know what they're saying? Because the job that the young people have is to disseminate it so that it'll fit in your computer. What I'll come back to you with is sections in the RMA. Closest comparison that we can get to to what they're saying. The effect that it has on all those moments that this Kaumata was talking about. That flies over the top of a lot of people's heads because they're not looking at what we're looking at to come to the kind of thing. At this point in time, talking about the flooding is almost makes me want to cry because of the devastating impact that it had on me and my family. And I'm not feeling comfortable talking about it now. It's like talking about my mother that died 15 years ago. And what was it like that day you buried her? That's the question I feel that's being asked here. Being taken back to a time in my life that's not something that I would like to remember or share with anybody. Because I'm sharing with you a sadness. And it happened twice. The day the second flood came, our trailer was being unloaded back into our home after we finished laying the carpet. And the policeman knocked on the door. Bryce, get your gear out of here. It's coming again. When? In about 4 hours. I tell you what, he wasn't far. 3.5 hours. It came through again. I'm watching the young kids crying. And that's the effect it had on us. And our elders, the things that they were going through, they were worried about us. That kind of thing too. That kind of impact. And that kind of impact requires head treatment. You could have dropped an atomic bomb on kaeo, as same as happened. We researched into Manawatu to look for strategies on how we could deal with our issue. We found out the amount of money that Manawatu got. We asked for the same kaupapa that you guys got. They turned us down. They turned us down. What the councils are proposing doing is building retaining stock banks out of timber to stop water. When you go back down to kaeo, look to the right and you'll see a mountain. Go down to the bottom of that mountain, that was the bank of the river. And then look to the other side of the kaeo and you'll see another mountain. That was the other bank of the river. There was no grass or fences or anything to be seen. All the video footage you see on TV, that come off my camera. The boat going up and down the street, that was off ours. So at that time, all we can do is live with it and carry on. We appreciate your being here, but we're not expecting anything. That's how depressing it is. They call a public meeting in the hall. We go there and we get called idiots. What are you moaning about? You know what I mean? Until we put them on a video and said, this is what we're moaning about. We weren't here. We were. So nobody can help us with that. No one can help us with the traumatic effect that it's having on us at this point in time. When we get our leaders saying, move the town. When we get our government departments saying, you fellas, no, we got the answer. So we're putting ourselves in a positioning ourselves to take responsibility, take the power back in our hands, and fix it the way we see it in our computer.